happening now. Graduations, end of school year activities. But if you've got a senior in 2026, it's already time to start thinking about at least one activity, senior photos. Joining us this morning with some helpful tips is Mandy Penn, owner of Mandy Penn Photography. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Of course.
So when is the right time to start scheduling these sessions?
Surprisingly, now is actually a great time. Once we come into the summer months, and now it's super green and a little less snow, which is nice. It just makes for better overall images because everything is alive and not dead like it is in the winter months. But right now is great because as a senior photographer, I'm starting to book up already in June and July. And then you have the summer, so you have, we're going on a few trips and stuff, so I have to schedule around that. So right now is perfect, especially with, you know,
if you're wanting
those beautiful green images, or even if you're wanting, there's only like, if you've been in Colorado Springs a while, you know that we only have fall for like 2 weeks. So you need to book that ahead of time because everyone wants those beautiful colors. So now is a great time.
It's hard to think about because you're not thinking, oh, already next year, but okay. So how do you pick the best photographer for you and your senior?
So there's a few elements that go into that. Basically, you're gonna want to put, you know, what you're wanting as a parent. If you're wanting, you know, to display the pictures on a wall, if you're wanting an album, I offer albums. If you're wanting just digitals, that's something that you have to ask your photographer. I'm a print-based photographer, so you get the digitals with everything you print, but I'm a print-based photographer, so I want to see pictures in an album. I want to see them on your walls, stuff like that. And so knowing that ahead of time is great. Also, obviously, budget comes into effect, but they're only this age once, and so it kind of depends on, you know, who you also like. Having like in-person consultations with people is great, because if you or your senior don't feel comfortable with the person behind the camera, you're not going to love your photos. So I always say that.
Is it important to look at because every photographer has a different style, right?
Yeah.
And how can you get a feel for what their style is?
So normally, if their website is updated or their social media, obviously kids are on social media all the time, you know, looking at that and kind of seeing what you jive with. Some people will put presets on their images. I'm very true to color, so if you come in that green, it's going to show up that green. I'm not going to put a different spin on it. So it really depends on what you're drawn to. A lot of people like the light and airy where everything's really bright. Some people like the dark and moody. So it really depends on what you're wanting. I'm very like a true to color, like what you see is what you get. I just brighten it up a little bit more. So.
Okay, what should you wear for your photos? I feel like that's a big question you probably get asked a lot.
Yeah, a lot. So I actually, with my seniors, I have a guide. So it goes into more detail, which is great for the seniors. But I talk to the seniors about, you know, if you don't normally wear a dress as a girl, don't be wearing dresses. Like, you're not going to feel comfortable in that. You want to be in something that you're going to be wearing on the daily, or when you go out for a nice dinner. You know, like, you don't need to get a whole new wardrobe just for your senior photos, because you're going to feel weird in that. So if it's stuff that, you know, especially boys are like, oh, I don't normally wear a button-up shirt. Okay, well then don't wear that, you know? And I tell my branding clients the same thing.
They are, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not something their parents want them to be. And so, you know.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So how do you go about capturing their personality in your sessions?
Yeah, so in my sessions, I'm very experience-based. So it's very much about, you know, who the senior is. You could have 5 volleyball players that are on the same team and the same, you know, look, but their pictures are going to be completely different based on their personality. So I like to do a pre-consultation on the phone, and then I do an in-person consultation just to kind of feel who they are and what they want, and we go through very in detail, like what locations do you want, what outfits do you want, you know, what are some adjectives that describe you, and that helps me because it gets me more in touch with my seniors and I get to know them better too. So, and that brings out that personality.
Why is now why is this phase of life an important time to capture, in your opinion, as a photographer?
So this has actually been something. I did a graduation the other day for a client and a grad party, and they were twins, and I have twins of my own, and they're 12. And so now I'm like starting to see like how much more important it is, because they're only like this for this long, and then once they go to college, they change so much. They do different activities. They don't, you know, they start to meet people that they want to spend the rest of their lives with. They get new friends, they go to different colleges. And so right now you capture the last 12 to 18 years of their life, you know, in school. So
through childhood.
Yeah.
Okay, well, be sure to put your information up on the screen. You can go and contact her there, and we'll put all of this on our website as well, fox21news.com. Mandy, thank you so much.
Thanks
Great
so much
tips
for having
as
me.
always.